It's interesting that you shoot the floor there.
It's cheaper to bring 100 American people to Ireland than to walk across the lot at Fox.
Right.
Past the sound stages and do it there.
Crazy. Do you think if we shot Parks right now, we would be in Budapest?
100% we would be. We'd be in Budapest. We would be.
It's so weird. There's nothing shoots in Los Angeles.
Nothing. I had my next show already done, scripts, deals closed.
Yeah.
And they said, we're shooting this in New York. And I said, I'm not moving to New York to do this.
Yeah.
And then it went away. The show's done. I'm not doing it.
Wow.
I'm not doing it.
Too expensive to shoot here.
There are no tax credits. So like all those other places are offering 40%.
Yeah.
40%.
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that, there's other stuff that they do.
Yeah.
And then and that's not even talking about the union stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's just tax economics of it all. So it's criminal what the California and LA have let happen. It's criminal. Everybody should be fired.
What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody. We got to talk about this situation, man, because this one right here, this is very, very juicy, very interesting. And, depending on how this thing all shakes out, it may change the landscape of movie making forever. All right, forever. This is juicy as hell. Let's go ahead and dig into this. We've been seeing these types of articles, all right, these types of headlines popping up over the last year, all right. Hollywood is in trouble. Hollywood at risk of becoming the next Detroit Auto. And they're talking about film production basically leaving Los Angeles, going to other cities, other states, and even other countries, because these studios, as rich as they are, as much money as they have, they're still looking for those juicy tax incentives to take down the cost of some of their movies, especially a studio like Disney, who can't figure out how to budget a movie correctly. They just keep overspending $200, $300, $400 million on some of these movies for what? I have no idea. It never shows up on the screen, But nevertheless, they go overseas because they say, shoot, we spent $300 million. We got to get some of that bread back. So let's go ahead and get some of those juicy tax incentives that the UK offers or other countries offer to shoot in their countries. You guys saw the little video clip that I put up at the very beginning of this where Rob Lowe and Adam Scott were talking about it. And they're like, yeah, it's cheaper to go across the world, right? To go to Ireland and shoot a movie in Ireland than it is to go across the street in Hollywood and shoot at one of the studios or sound stages here in LA. It's easier to pack everybody up and cheaper to pack everybody up and go to another country. That's crazy. Yeah, and it's starting to affect the local economy here in Los Angeles, all right? IndieWire posted this up. Filming in LA in 2024 was the lowest it's been in 3 decades. 3 decades, y'all. So you got to go back 30 years, back into the 90s. To find film production as low as it was last year in 2024. All right. And it's not getting any better. The Wrap posted this up earlier. LA Q1 production sinks 22% year over year. TV production plummeted by 30.5%, while feature film production collapsed 28.9%. So I guess the only thing that was good was like commercials or whatever. I mean, that's absolutely unsustainable. I don't know how they're going to figure this out. But yeah, Donald Trump, who is the, of course, president who has promised to help Hollywood any way that he can, he came out with an interesting solution, and this one is going to cause all kinds of feathers to get ruffled. This headline by Deadline, Donald Trump says he's pursuing 100% tariffs on movies produced outside the United States, calling runaway production a national security threat. Yeah, so Trump, once again, trying to shake up the world, all right? Trying to shake everybody up, get them out of their lethargy. All right, you guys got to start doing something different. And if you don't, it's a 100% tariff. That is a number that's an eye opener, and that's going to change up what Hollywood does. Now, do I think that these 100% tariffs are an actual thing, or is it Trump's way to try to get people moving? I think that's what it is. I think it's the second. I don't think Trump wants to put 100% tariffs on movies. I don't think he's interested in that because it says here movies produced outside the United States. And that's not just foreign films. All right. It's foreign films, but it's also any movies that are made anywhere else. So like those UK productions where Disney's running over to the United Kingdom, to make Avengers Doomsday like they currently are. Yeah, 100% tariffs on that too. And so there's a lot of moving parts here. And I think this is one like piece of Trump's plan. I can't call it for sure. All right. But I got another article I'm going to show you, just reading between the lines. I don't think this is like he's trying to basically get people to move. Say, hey, you guys want to start bringing some of those productions back inside to the United States and make as much stuff as you can in the U.S. And then we'll see where we go from there. All right. But yeah, if this goes down like this 100%, let's just say that's what it is. Yeah, this is going to be a major, major problem. All right. Culture Crave covered it, says Donald Trump says he's ordering 100% tariffs on all films produced outside of America that are brought into the country. A Hollywood project currently shooting overseas include Avengers Doomsday, The Odyssey, Avatar 4, and Supergirl. So yeah, I don't think that this is a sustainable thing either. Like hitting 100% tariffs on every movie where they're shooting overseas, where you're shooting on location. I don't think that's the case. I think what Trump is trying to do, again, I'm not a mind reader at all, but you know, let's actually look at the statement itself. See if you can kind of see where I'm coming from. I don't think he's trying to do that. I think he just wants to incentivize Hollywood. Hey, start making more stuff in America. And then we might be able to get to the second part of the plan, which might be a little bit better for them. So here's what Trump said. The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the United States. Hollywood and many other areas within the U.S. are being devastated. This is a concerted effort by other nations and therefore a national security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I am authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. I agree with that. And I think everybody that's thinking rationally about it should want that. You should want American film productions to take place in America, not to go overseas. All right. You want more American dollars. Think about this. When studios go to other countries and they make movies, the money that they are taking, Hollywood dollars, all right, United States dollars, they're taking that money over to another country and they're feeding that into their economy. Instead of that money staying here in America and circulating within the United States and circulating within our economy, it's going and it's taking care of somebody else's economy, you know? So yeah, you should want to limit that as much as humanly possible. But because California, especially California, is insanely difficult to do business with, and it's absolutely, you know, one of the most expensive places in the world to do business. You got all of these different regulations and everything that you got to jump through, all of these hoops, you know. Studios are like, man, forget it, deuces. I'm going to, you know, like Rob Lowe and Adam Scott, I'm going to Ireland. This right here is the first opening in a conversation that Trump wants to have, you know, with these studios. Hey, let's start doing things a little bit differently. Stop going to other countries. Stay home and let's work it out. What can we do after you guys agree to stay home? You know, and I think the tariff is just more of an incentive just to not set up anything new in another country. You know, like for these other productions, all right, for these joints that's already in production, I don't know if they're going to be getting hit with that tariff. They got to figure that out real quick. There's a lot of phone calls being made right now. Everybody's on the phone. Hey, wait, what's going on? Is this happening now? Are we grandfathered into the old system? You know, that's a question that you got to ask. But look, let me get to the second part of this because I think the second part of this is fascinating as well. So you guys might remember Jon Voight, all right, who was one of the Hollywood ambassadors that Trump set up along with, I think, Mel Gibson and Sly Stallone. Jon Voight, one of those Hollywood ambassadors, has a plan to save Hollywood. Will Trump or anyone else care? So you notice that this only came out 2 days before the tariff talk. So I think that there's a conversation that's already been had here. This isn't by any coincidence that this information has already come out. Now, what is his plan? Here's what the Deadline article says. Jon Voight has been taking meetings around town with union reps and studio executives to understand the issues plaguing domestic production, Deadline has confirmed. So far, Voight has met with the Directors Guild of America, Teamsters, and IATSE, sources tell us. The Writers Guild of America has not met with Voight, and it's unclear whether SAG-AFTRA has entertained a conversation. It says the exact plan that Coming Home Oscar winner Voight, whose daughter is Angelina Jolie, has prepared for Trump is unclear, but sources with knowledge of his conversations with Hollywood insiders tell us they expect a federal tax incentive to be the main component. All right, so I think this is the plan. This is the part of the plan, is that, look, You guys got to first and foremost agree to stop putting productions over in other countries, or there's going to be a 100% tariff, and that's that. Now, if you keep it here, hey, we got a federal tax incentive coming your way. If you keep it here, we got a federal tax incentive coming your way. But you got to agree to keep your productions here. And if you don't, there's going to be a tariff. So I think that's only half of the conversation that is being had right now. This tariff is to get people to come to this, all right? The tariff is to get the people, the conversation started, you know, because like I said up here, the Writers Guild and SAG-AFTRA, we don't know if they've talked yet. So maybe they said, all right, if they don't want to talk to us, let's talk about these tariffs. Oh, shit. All right. What you want to talk about, Trump? What you want to talk about, Trump? You said you want to talk. Let's talk. Because nobody wants tariffs. Nobody wants to have these films, especially when you're talking about Hollywood productions. You know, you want to be able to film on location. You want to be able to go to New Zealand, for instance, to shoot Lord of the Rings. You know, and I think they're talking about the Zelda movie is going to be shooting in New Zealand. You know, and plus, you want to really watch that when it comes to foreign films coming into this country. Listen, we don't want anything like that. You know, as an anime fan, I can tell you right now, I do not want any problems with getting anime into the country. You know, whether it's a film, TV, whatever it is, I don't want there to be any trouble getting anime coming into the country as cheaply as possible. I'm not trying to pay extra for my Crunchyroll or my Netflix or whatever. You know, so there's a lot of moving parts here. I think, again, this tariff situation, this is just the opening salvo, just to get the conversations going and saying, hey, all right, what do you guys want to do? I'm going to drop a tariff and then we can talk. And then I think if there's enough conversation going in the right direction, they'll remove the tariff, or at least say, all right, man, we was just bluffing. There ain't no tariffs. But now that we have an understanding of keeping productions here in this country, I think that's very important. I honestly do. I think that is probably more important than anything. You know, when you send money and all that stuff overseas, you're taking away from Americans here. You're taking away from actual money circulating within the American economy. I don't have problems with other countries, you know, benefiting from our, you know, film productions as well, but you can't be doing what they've been doing, all right, to the point where they're talking about, oh yeah, Hollywood's about to become the next Detroit Auto, you know? And when I say Hollywood, I'm really talking about like the entire film industry, not just like locally Hollywood. Hollywood really, in my opinion, is just the film industry, but they are talking about LA production as well. And that Hollywood is basically drying up, you know? So we'll see what happens. But you guys let me know what y'all think about this. I think it's fascinating. I don't have all the answers, obviously. I don't know where this is all going. You know, how much in these tariffs is real? Like, is this an actual thing that they're going to push on all of these productions? Because you're talking about losing foreign films, too. Foreign films are going to have 100% tariff on them. So how many times are you going to like see foreign films coming into this country if there's 100% tariff on every single foreign film that comes in? You know, how do you apply that tariff? You know, there's too many moving parts here. I think, once again, this is just a conversation that they're looking to open up. We'll keep our eye on this because I guarantee you this is going to be big news, you know, until this particular situation is resolved. Look, Trump's shaking up the world. He's trying to get things moving in a certain direction, you know, and I have to applaud him for it because, again, I think it's great to bring jobs back to America. I think that is very important. And to keep those jobs in America and then let all the secondary economies, you know, like restaurants and catering and all of that, let those companies in this country benefit from film production. Now, if television and film production, you know, leaves the Los Angeles area, or there's less films made in the LA area and it's going to other cities and states inside the United States, I actually don't have a big problem with that. As a matter of fact, that might be the thing that the film industry needs, all right? Go into less woke areas of the country. Make movies in areas of the country that are not woke Hollywood. All right. Go to Texas and make movies, you know, because guess what? You'll get some of that culture rubbing off on you, you know, and then that'll incentivize people in those states to say, hey, maybe I'll be a filmmaker. And then those guys, instead of trying to like acquiesce and bend the knee to woke Hollywood, they can just say, nah, I'm here in Texas, or I'm in Florida or Georgia or Ohio or some other states, Nevada. I think they're trying to get it going. You know, they're not as, you know, beholden to woke Hollywood. I think, you know, getting a broader segment of society to get into the filmmaking industry, I think it actually would benefit the film industry. You know, so it's like, oh, let's make movies in less woke areas where every person around you isn't some blue-haired weirdo, but you've got a lot of like regular, normal, average Americans. Like, I feel Hollywood is so out of touch with America as a whole, that it does kind of need to spread itself and get out of LA. Go to other areas of the country and make movies, you know, and get talent and people, film, you know, camera crews, you know, different types of folks, caterers, everything else, you know, hairstylists and all that. Get those people from everywhere else, you know, like start really branching out throughout the entire country. I think it'd help. It could absolutely help the film industry if they did something like that. You know, that's just my opinion. Anyway, what do y'all think about this situation, man? I think this is juicy as hell. We'll keep our eye on this and see where it all goes. All right. Are the Trump tariffs going to actually come to Hollywood and, you know, put the hammer down and keep productions in the United States? You know, or is Hollywood just going to say, screw it, we're going to go over there and we'll just tack on more money to the budget, you know, and get a bigger film and, you know, tax credit, you know? Say, all right, UK, you got to pay for this extra tax credit now, you know, because, you know, Trump has hit us with a tariff. And that'll be interesting to see. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.